I'm going to be talking about the fighters that need to move up a division. Okay, so I think there's a lot of guys right now who are currently stuck at the wrong weight class. If a reason could be aging, a reason could just be losing a lot of fights, a reason could be weight cutting, that I think that they should just stop cutting as much weight, or that I think just the better upper weight class is a better fit for them. Starting off with Brandon Royval. Okay, I think Brandon Royval could be a top 5 bantamweight. I know he's currently ranked number 4 in the flyweight division, but after getting chinned by Manal Cap, I don't see a lot of good fights for him at flyweight anymore. He's kind of in a tough spot. He could fight maybe a Loner Kavanaugh or something like that, which I don't even know if I think Loner should get a bigger step up than that, in my opinion. He's kind of at a weird spot. I mean, I feel like his day has come and gone kind of after the Van fight. It's showing that he's probably never going to get a title shot. I mean, he's maybe only 1 or 2 fights away, but still, you guys know what I mean. Royval definitely feels past his prime here at flyweight. He's 33 years old. He's not getting any younger, and flyweight's a younger man's division, man. So it's like to expect Royval to go on another run to go get the belt back at 125. It's not like he's going to get the belt at 135. Like, who would I match him up with today? I think I'd match him up with a guy like David Martinez. I know Martinez is currently ranked number 9, but I think we got to see and test his chops at 135. I would probably take Brandon Royval to beat David Martinez at 135. And then he could get that step up. That could be a Corey Sandhagen. That could be a Umar. Like, it really could be Umar. Maybe you match up Umar versus Brandon. Umar would clean him, but it's just because we got to figure out actually if Brandon Royval does have lighter man skill. Okay, and we got to figure out to what degree he actually does have this. But I think he should get a ranked matchup. I know he's always talked about moving up to 135. I remember on his note card it said UFC bantamweight Brandon Royval, which just wasn't true. I would like to see him move up to 135. I think he could give a lot of people a lot of good fights. Like him versus O'Malley would be a super. Like I think that's honestly a better matchup than O'Malley versus Sandhagen, if we're talking entertainment-wise. I think Sandhagen employs the grappling. It wouldn't be as fun. But I think O'Malley versus Royval probably could be one of the best fights that you can make in the UFC. But I don't know if Royval would come to strike. If he would, I think O'Malley would probably just tee off on him, to be honest. But I don't know. Royval's probably a touch faster than he is. Going on to flyweight, we do have Diego Lopes. So he's coming off back-to-back losses, or a loss versus Alexander Volkanovski, and it looks like Volk is going to hold on to the belt, in my opinion, at least for the next year, at least for like the next 8 or so months, because I think Silva does knock out Alexander Volkanovski, but that just means that Volk's going to hold on to the belt for at least another 8 months or so. So Lopes is completely taken out of the title picture. I know he has a fight booked against Steve Garcia. It's a decent matchup for him. I find it a bit weird, but I think you should immediately move him up into a fight with Max Holloway. I think that you could book Max Holloway versus Diego Lopes right now, and I think everyone would agree that would be an absolute bang. You can make that a fight night. I mean, that's such a fun fight. That's actually such a fun fight. Freaking Diego Lopes versus Max Holloway is a banger. That is a banger, and it makes sense. I don't want to see Holloway fighting Conor. That's a ridiculous fight. Lopes versus Holloway would be cinema. I know Holloway would win pretty easy, right? Holloway would win really easy, just with the striking. He's just a cleaner striker than Diego is. Diego's really just a wild man on the feet. He's not really a clean striker, so I think Holloway would just be able to pick him apart. But it's either here or there. That'd be a fun fight to break down, okay? And I think he should, even though 155 is filled with killers and 155 is a more stacked division than 145, I think unless we see like a real, like he's fighting the number 9 contender, guys. He's fighting Steve Garcia, and he's not going to get a title shot anytime soon. I think it's time for him to move up. He's clearly a bigger guy. I like to see him put on a little bit more muscle, especially whenever he starts moving up weights. I would say Diego Lopes, time to move up. All right, going on to our next fighter. We got Paddy Pimblett, okay? I think the weight cut's too much for me just to watch a guy just balloon up and become an absolute fat ass, okay, to then decide to move down all the way to 155 pounds in weight. I don't understand how that works for anybody to be able to do that safely. I mean, I looked at Paddy's video maybe a month ago. He looked like an absolute fatty, okay? Paddy the fatty, bro. It's like, why are we Why is he fighting? Yeah, why is he fighting at 155? Just move him up to 170. He'll feel better, okay? He won't feel worse. And I'm not a Paddy fan, and he's ranked number 6. I mean, I'd be okay with giving him. I mean, you could do like Sean Brady. No, don't do Sean Brady. You could do Usman. You could do Paddy versus Usman at 170. You could do Paddy versus Leon at 170. All those are fun fights. Paddy versus Leon would be a really fun fight. But I think 155. I mean, 155 and 170 are two of the most stacked divisions. I mean, it's just murderer's row both ways if you're going either way. But I think Paddy, it's for him. I don't see him beating the top of the division, and I don't know what he looked like at 170. So time would tell, right? But it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say that Paddy truly is going to be able to win the belt at 155 when I don't even believe he's a top 10 fighter at lightweight. I mean, I think I had him at 10. I had him at 10. I think Paddy's the 10th best fighter at lightweight. You can watch that video if you want to. So it's like, why would I expect him to be able to go to welterweight, which is an equally... I think I would actually take him against Usman. Now that we say that, I think I would take Paddy to beat Usman, which is interesting. I would take Paddy to beat Leon. I'd take Buckley over Paddy. I haven't watched enough Gabriel Bonfim to really have a strong opinion on that. Euros Medic was chin Paddy pretty easily. MVP would beat Paddy. Yeah, there's some interesting fights for Paddy there. I'd like to see Paddy move up to 170. Maybe not yet in his career, but another 2 or 3 fights if he loses his next fight to BSD, which it looks like, which I'm not a huge fan of that fight. I wanted to see Paddy versus Gamrot. I thought that was the fight to make. Because I think you need... I think Paddy might be just a bad matchup for BSD. I might take Paddy in that fight. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Paddy's very good, but I think the matchup's just poor. Because I think Paddy's a better striker than BSD, and I think Paddy's going to be able to hold his own on the feet with BSD. Hold his own on the ground with BSD is what I'm trying to say. That's a really interesting fight, actually, stylistically, now that I think about it. I'm going to take Paddy. I got to watch some film on that, but I think I'm going to lean the fatty. All right, going on next, we have Israel Adesanya. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but he just looks like... All right, we're gonna do a group project here. Let's take a look at Israel Adesanya weight cut. Like, look at his face, dude. He looks so bad whenever he gets on the scales. He looks terrible here, guys. Why is he doing this weight cut? He's 36 years old. He's at the end of his prime. He's at the end of his career, okay? Let's just give Adesanya fun fights and at a weight class that he feels good at. Look at what Paulo Costa's doing. Paulo Costa's a top 5 light heavyweight fighter. You don't think Adesanya today would go out there and beat Jan Blachowicz? You don't think Adesanya today could go beat Jamahal Hill? You don't think Adesanya today could go beat Paulo Costa? You don't think Adesanya today... I mean, he'd probably get chinned by Asma. He would beat Dominic Reyes. If we're being for real, he'd beat Dominic Reyes. But I think you just give him, like, Alexander Rakic as a layup. He knocks out Alexander Rakic, the Izzy hype is back, and then you put him against a top 5 opponent. That's what you do, okay? Izzy, your time has come at, 185. If you want to stay at 185, go fight like freaking RoboCop and just get chinned. Okay, 185 is the last stacked heavy division. It's the last one. It's the last one. Light heavyweight and heavyweight suck. 185 has some killers at the top, but there's not a lot of fighters at 185, but they got some killers at the top, right? But 205, 265, dude, Izzy, you're a top 5 fighter in both those divisions. Why are you hanging out at 185? Enjoy the cut. Enjoy the cut, dude. Okay, going on to the last fighter of this video, I have Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill. He's currently the number 6 light heavyweight in the world, and if he moved up to 205, I know this sounds crazy. He's probably around the same, to be honest with you guys. Like, he loses to Gon, he loses to Aspinall, he loses to Volkov, probably? I don't know. I might take Hill. Pavlovich, that would just be the worst. That would be the worst fight of all time. Waldo, I'm not sure. Waldo doesn't really ever impress me. He looked good in the anti-Delija fight. The Derek Lewis fight didn't look good for either side. They both look terrible. Josh Hokett, he would lose to. Hokett's too fast. Well, I don't know. Would he even lose to Hokett? Hope gets smart for being at heavyweight, man, because he could just speed mog all these guys. He would lose to Rizvan Guniev. Guniev's freaking elite. Yeah, I don't know who he beats at 265, but I don't know who he does beat at 205, okay? And I think he's got a way better chance of crack. I think he could realistically beat Volkov. I think he could theoretically beat Volkov. I think he could theoretically beat Pavlovich. I'm not picking him in those fights, but I'm saying he could. He could beat Curtis Blades. He would destroy Derek Lewis. He would destroy Tyrell Fortune. He would destroy Ante Delija. He would get fluked versus Shamil. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who you guys think should move up? Who should move down? The only guy who I could really think should move down, I don't really think of a fighter that can move down. I think everyone fights at kind of the right weight class. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I had fun making this video. Man, this video is coming out on Sunday, so that means the J Demon Protest fight has already happened. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm personally... Okay, let's talk about that fight. I take Protest by knockout, but I think I think he just flukes him. I don't even think it's very, like... JDM is a better fighter, clearly. But anyways, see you guys later.